Negative gearing is being discussed in Canberra. There is some backbench support for some reform in this area, but the Prime Minister has told Sky News this morning that it wouldn't help boost housing supply. Live to our political reporter Cameron Reddin. Cam, Labor did change its mind on stage 3 tax, the old "we have no plans to." The Prime Minister said exactly the same on negative gearing this morning.
Yeah, getting a bit of deja vu, are we, Laura? Look, no plans. Sometimes plans don't change until they do. But the Prime Minister's now trying to make the argument that this is a different scenario to stage 3. He says that stage 3 was a direct, relatively immediate response to the cost of living crisis and argues today that he does not see negative gearing in the same light. But because the door has been left ajar, it's allowed some on the Labor backbench who would not normally be in a position to comment publicly on these sorts of things. These backbenchers are lending their support to the idea of, at the very least, considering changes to negative gearing. They include the likes of Josh Burns in the seat of Macnamara, Maria Van Vakenu, who's retiring from Calwell, but these are 2 seats in Victoria that the Greens will be gunning for at the next election. Despite leaving the door slightly ajar, though, the Prime Minister says he's not yet convinced that changing negative gearing would be the key to solving the main problem with housing, and that is getting more on the market and boosting supply.
Well, we have no plans to touch it or change negative gearing. What we did with our income tax changes was to deliver a tax cut for every Australian.
Yeah, but you lied doing it. You lied. You were deceptive doing that.
Guess what, Pete? Well, if I did, so did Peter Dutton, because they voted for it.
Treasury is modelling one scenario that would look at a potential cap on the number of homes that people would be able to negatively gear. These are the sorts of people that may be affected on that. Roughly 260,000 people have more than two or more negatively geared properties in Australia. So these are the people that Treasury are looking at. It's not currently Labor policy, but the Coalition is spoiling for a fight on this. They would oppose any changes to negative gearing, saying that before and after the election, if the Coalition was to win, that the current settings would remain unchanged.
If you want less of something, you tax it more. So if you want people to smoke less, you tax cigarettes more. If you want people to invest less in housing, if you want people to build less homes, you tax housing even more. We support the current arrangements.
So no plans from the government, Laura. The Prime Minister isn't pulling the plug out of computers at Treasury, stopping them from doing this modelling. But until he strikes it out for good, this conversation will linger.